everybody. Thank you for showing up today. This is obviously something that a lot of us are interested in, and I'm really glad you're here today. My name is Leslie Moffett, and I'll be talking you through some pretty fun stuff, but I need to ask for a volunteer first. So while folks are coming on and filling out the questions on that initial poll, is there anybody out there that I could make a co-host so you can monitor the waiting room and chat for me? Anybody show a hand or something, or volunteer? Keith, did you volunteer? I just happened to see a name I recognize first. Keith, if I make you a co-host, could you just monitor it and let people in? And then if anything important happens in the chat, let me know.
Okay.
No pressure or anything. Yes, I'd like to. Thank you for volunteering. I don't think you really volunteered. That way I'm going to stop admitting people now. Are you getting the little doorbell sounds?
I'll do it. Yeah.
All right. And then if anything important happens in the chat or anything, go ahead and interrupt me too.
Okay.
Likewise. But I'll go ahead and get started as folks are coming on here. Thank you for joining me today. I am 58 years old and almost, and I'm so excited about this tool. And even at my age, I figured this out. So I'm like, I've got to share this with the world. We are here today to talk about ChatGPT and how it can help you, business and directors, with all kinds of stuff. I bet all of us have thought many times, oh, if I just had a personal assistant or somebody to do these things for me. Or you've sat and just like brainstormed and blank, like, I can't think of anything. I know I need to do start a document or start an email, but you just can't do that. And so that's what I'm going to teach you about today, how we can use chat, not to replace us, not to keep us from thinking on our own, but as a tool, just like any other tool that we use judiciously, that can help us serve our students, right? You can teach more music and spend less time on the other stuff. And isn't that what most of us want to do? Many of you might know I've written a book called I Love My Job, But It's Killing Me. And I swear if ChatGPT had been around, I might not have needed it, because so much of what kept me up at night was the stuff that now I'm going, oh my God, chat could do this for me. And yes, I still have to check it. I still have to make sure it's accurate. But this is an amazing, amazing tool. And you're here probably because you've been hearing bits and pieces about it. And in a few minutes, I'm going to go to the polls that we did, and we're going to see where we are, so that, I've got an outline, general outline for this, but if there's a whole bunch of people that are giving me certain information, I want to give you guys what you need. It's cool to see some familiar faces out there, everybody. Thanks for showing up on a summer day. Anyway, so I became really interested in this in December when it came out. I heard a little bit about it, and I started fussing around with it and stuff, with, like everybody does, just a simple prompt at the beginning. And I was just like, wait, what? And the more I've studied it and learned about it and practiced with it and used it with clients and used it for all these other things, the more I can see its capabilities. There is a lot out there. There's artificial intelligence galore. There's plugins we can use. There's all kinds of things like that. Today, I'm going to focus and keep the focus on ChatGPT, because otherwise you'll be like, what? There's just way too much information. So ChatGPT is one of the artificial intelligence tools that you can use to really help you. And it's so freaking easy to learn to use. You won't believe it. And then you refine how you use it and you get even better and better. So today, by the time we're done with this training, I don't know, 45 minutes or so, you're going to know enough to know if this is a tool that you want to spend any time learning. Because you might say, oh, no, I really don't have any need for it. And then you just save yourself a lot of time down the road trying to wonder if you should use it. Or you might start to get curious about, wow, I wonder if I could use it for this or for that. And then you start playing around with it. And you might just find, as you play around with it, even in your own personal life this summer, how you can get it to do the things you want for personal and professional work. So I'll give some examples of both. I'm going to do, I don't have a slideshow today. I haven't done presentations without slideshows because I don't need to, because I'm going to let ChatGPT in real time show you what it can do. So this is when we hope the internet isn't really slow, because that would be awkward. So everybody cross your fingers for super strong internet today. So we're going to tap into the surface of chat. You're going to know what it is, how to access it, how to use it in its most basic form, and how to maximize your outcome. And this is a key here. This is where the magic is. And I want you to stay around, because at the end, I'm going to give you a link to a cheat sheet so it can prompt you. It'll say, use these things, and then you fill in the blanks, and you're going to get way better stuff than if you just randomly put stuff in there. And then I'm going to teach you the 7 magic words that you include in every prompt if you want even better results. So let's get started, okay? I'm going to see if I can grab this poll and close it. We'll end the poll. Let's see if I can show the results. I haven't looked at them yet, so let's find out. Okay, so we've got, just looking at where we all are here. People have used it a few times, but very few of you use it regularly. So I'll try to keep that in mind as I go through this. I've been using it for 6 or 7 months now. So if I go too fast or something, raise your hand or something, or put something in the chat, and Keith will interrupt me. He can just unmute and tell me, hey, somebody's got a question. But I'll try to keep in mind that many of you have not used it before. And then are you able to? Yes.
People are hearing the doorbell, and I've tried to mute from my
How
end.
do I turn that off?
I have no idea.
I thought it was the annoying me, but somebody help me out here. Audio, maybe?
But you might.
How do I turn that off? Does
There you
anybody
are.
out there know? Help a girl out, you guys. Under participants, okay. Oh, Keith, you're a co-host. Keith, if you
Okay,
follow.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Rock star. Thank you.
All
right.
Under participants.
Did you find it? Okay, so while Keith is doing that, I just want to look at what lots of us are thinking it can do for us, because all of these things on here it can do. So I'm just kind of scrolling down to get a sense of all the things we could save time with as we use this tool. And what would you do if you had an extra hour a day? Spend time with family and self. That's right up there, right? Oh, me too. And then sleeping, that's pretty big, because you can sleep more securely when you know you got a personal assistant to help you when you get back to school. Anything but work, exercise, self-care, or anything. Yeah, anything but work extra. I don't think that there's really a purpose in working harder if we don't have to. So there's plenty of things we can use this for, but I really want to show you some demonstrations instead of talking about it. I'm going to show you. So ChatGPT is a text-based or a language-based, it's not an app, but program thing that you communicate with. You can give it information, you can put PDFs in it, you can type information, and you can ask it to do things with that. You can put an article in there and ask it to give you, summarize the article so a 5th grader would understand it, for example, and it'll take that article and then in real time, just boom, give you what it would look like for a 5th grade reading level kind of thing. And so there's a million things that it does. I'm going to show you a sample of something I've done with it in the last 38 days, I think it is. And it's a combination of chat and some other tools, but I want you to see what I've done with it here. And I'm going to show you through a shameless plug, what I've done and how I've managed to, in 38 days, record and produce 46 episodes of a podcast that are now in a queue waiting to come out. If you can imagine recording a podcast, that's the easy part, right? You talk to somebody, you press record, and you're done. What we do with artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, and by we, I mean my husband and me, it's our production team. Well, as soon as I do the recording, he takes that Zoom, he puts it into a different artificial intelligence besides chat, and within like 30 seconds, the entire transcript is available. Then we take that, copy and paste it into chat. And as soon as we do that, for example, Ansgar might be on here. Ansgar, I'm using you as an example. If I go to Ansgar's here, instead of me having to go through and re-listen to the episode, write up the summary and the notes, and then come up with a title for it, I have to do nothing. I prompt ChatGPT, it puts it out, I just double check it, and it's done. So producing this has suddenly gone from having, hours of work that each one is done in just a matter of like minutes, literally. It has been absolutely unbelievable. I never would be able to do all this otherwise, because it would just be way too much for me to try to figure out. So that's a way I've used it. And a lot of you might go, oh, I can see ways how I could use it there. But what we're mostly here for is to see how you can use it in your classroom. So I'm looking here for where my samples are. I'm actually going to go right here, right now. It's going to be the shortest training you guys have ever been to. So this is what chat looks like. If you want, or when you want to sign up, you just go chat.openai.com. And it's going to take you through the easiest sign up ever. I think I had to put my phone number in and something else. I don't know. And then now it's great because I can access it from anywhere. I just sign in with, with Google or whatever, and I can access it from my phone, from any computers. And it keeps everything right here that I've done since I started this in December. So I can easily find whatever I need. Once I'm on what's called, I'm in the beta program. I pay $20 a month so that I can have all the plugins available. I'm not going to confuse you by talking about those now, but also so I can have it go on the web in real time. I can have it go look at a website and find all the things, or compare websites, or do whatever I need. So I'm going to be modeling on ChatGPT 4 because it's just a little cooler, and I'm paying for it. Might as well use it. So I'm going to put some samples in here because some of you might just be like, I don't understand what this even means. So let's just get hardcore. I put some sample prompts here. Let's imagine, I'm going to copy and paste. The only reason I'm copying and pasting is so you don't have to watch me waste time typing. So I'm going to tell chat here, I am planning a 3-day retreat for my high school band. The purpose of the retreat is for students to develop their teamwork skills, identify and support student leadership, and become more vested in our band program. We will be staying in cabins and have lots of room for indoor and outdoor activities. Please create an outline of activities we could do to support our goals that includes meal times, activities to promote teamwork and bonding, and other things that will engage the students and have them feel like they're part of a family by the end of the retreat. I mean, that's just really vague, actually. Watch what chat will do. See, it's just a starting point. You may want to adjust it. This is not one and done. I can interact with this thing as many times as I want to. But it's going to give me a basic idea of what could I do on a retreat if my goals are to promote bonding and blah, blah, blah. So you see, it's like, what are the goals for the day and all? So let's just look at this and say, oh, team building activity, the human knot. Please provide video link for human knot. I hope this worked. Ready? Boom. Oh, I might have interrupted it. I'll stop generating that because you've seen the idea of what it does. Now, it mentioned the human knot as one of the things that people could do at the game. So now it's going to go browse the web and find me a video so that I can learn what is the human knot. I already know what it is, but it's going to go find me a video link so that I have what I need to teach that. I don't have to search it out. I don't have to then go into Google or anything like that. This is just the first draft. Now, this is like having somebody sitting right across from you. You start looking at it and go, well, this I'd like to do. I don't want to do that. Move this around or whatever, but you've got to start here, or you might have it look for different kinds of activities or whatever you want. You just ask it and you just tell it to. And then this becomes your outline for what you had asked it to do. Okay. So far, so good. Anybody interrupting with questions? Yeah, I've got some more samples I'm going to show you because basically that's what I'm here to do, is to do that. Okay, I'm going to show you how you can use it in your personal life because it's summertime right now. And maybe if you practice this with in your personal life, you'll start to get really comfortable with it. And, I don't know if you all know this because you're probably a lot younger than I am, most of you, but back in the day, the game Solitaire came when you bought your old computers. Solitaire was on the desktop computers. And the reason that was included was to teach people how to use a mouse, because my generation, we didn't ever use something like this. So it was to teach us how to do the muscles and how to use those. God, why was I telling you about this? I just totally lost my train of thought. There was a purpose, though. I forgot why I was telling you this. It had to do with practicing or something like that. Oh, it's embarrassing when that happens. Anyway, let me show you how you can use this in a personal life. So this is just a super simple prompt that I'm going to start a new chat with. And I'm going to go back to to 4 because I want to be in that. Oops. And the next one I'm going to do is I'm meal planning. Anybody else go, oh, meal planning. What is there? There's nothing to make, whatever. So I say, please provide 5 dinner ideas that result in leftovers that can be taken to work for lunch. The meals should be healthy, no processed food or anything containing gluten, because those are my restrictions, and provide sustained energy. That's pretty blasé. You know, if you had fussy kids, you could say, you could put in there what you or your family wants and the like, and then here it goes. So it's gonna figure this out for me. So as it starts to produce this, I might say, oh, I forgot I'm vegetarian. Can you change them to vegetarian or something? I'm going to tell it to stop generating. Well, no, I'll let you see just how many things it will come up with. So if I wanted 2 recipes, I would ask for, or 2 ideas, I'd ask for 5. So I could pick from them, right? Not just 5 if I wanted 5. And I'm like, gosh, a chickpea and vegetable curry. That sounds delicious. Please give me a recipe for, and I don't want to type all those words out, so I'm just going to say for number 3. I have to wait till it's done generating all these. Remember to store your leftovers properly. It reminds you. Isn't that nice? Okay, now please give me a recipe because I'm too lazy to look it up or go on Pinterest and look at all that stuff. So it's going to find a basic recipe for that. And now, just to blow your mind a little more, all the plugins and the things you can do, you can have Instacart connected to this, and you can say, make me a shopping list. And then you go through it, make sure it does, if you already had some things you wouldn't want on there, you take it off, and then it places your order for you, and you could have it delivered. Do you see how you could have a life that's a little different, a little less stressful? This is a free service. I'm using the $20 a month one, granted, but it still does this. This isn't, yeah. So, so that's a demonstration I wanted to show you. Anybody out there have something you want me to try putting in there? If anybody wants to unmute and ask it to do something, this is a super short training, and so I left a little time. Well, what I am going to do is offer to that you well, in a minute, I'm going to give you the 7 little words that you can add to a prompt. I'm going to show you the difference between a prompt one way, and then when we add these 7 words at the end and you go, whoa, wait, this is even cooler. I'm going to get to that in a second, because some of you might be like, wait, this is just super intense. I get it, but I don't know where to start on my own, and the like. So I'm going to be offering a class next Thursday. Where we're going to dive. Oh, yeah, I hear a voice.
You see that there's questions in the chat?
I do not. I've got somebody monitoring that. So I can check on that in a moment, or maybe Keith, if you see a pattern of questions, can you pop those up to me? I need like 8 more monitors so I can see all of the things. I have my phone and 2 computers going at the same time right now. So yeah, but like you just did, it's perfectly okay to unmute and just somebody say it out loud. But what I'm going to do is offer a 3-hour session where people can show up, like you show up, and we're going to really dig in. We're going to practice using it. People can show up and say, hey, I need help with this. Let me help you write your prompts. Let me help you do that, so that you walk out of that session with your all the stuff you would need for whatever the beginning of the school year might look like for you. If you want to have your welcome to school emails written for you, whatever it is. So I'll pop this in the chat. Oh gosh, the chat that I haven't got open. So if anybody's interested in doing that, it's going to let you really play with it, show you ideas of how we can use it that I can't even begin to tap into in a 45-minute, not even that thing here. This, if any of you teach beginning band, it's like you introduce all the instruments to the kids and you let them get an idea of it and the like, but you can't teach them how to play it and do all the things at first. So this is just, letting you go, is this the one I want to play? Is this the tool I want to use? And if it is, hopefully you won't have to take 6 months to get to the point I am now, because I'm just going to show you how to do it a whole lot easier, because I'm a teacher and that's what we do. So
would you mind putting in the chat how to write a grant for new instruments?
Let's just do one here. So wait, let's find a grant for instruments.
Mr. Holland's office.
Okay.
Foundation.
Please help us write a grant for musical instruments from the Mr. Holland's.
Opus Foundation. Yeah.
It's really scary to type with everybody watching. Okay, please help us write a grant for musical. We might use this as an example. I'm only going to give it that as the prompt. Let's say that's all you gave it. Let's see what it's going to ask us to do or tell us. I know what it's going to do. Okay, so let's answer this. Let's just play this out because this is a real example. We'll just say HMS. Number 2, mission. Please check the Everett I don't even have to look up the mission, you guys. I tell it to where to go. Director of bands. What type of musical instruments are we looking for? We're looking for 4 trombones because so many students want to play them and cannot afford to rent. How will they benefit? And these are really, really, really short, quick answers that I'm not even putting any thought into, just so you can see what happens. Booster fund covers maintenance and repair. So all I'm doing is answering stories. If I had a story, I could type up, I'll just put no for now. I do, but I'm not going to try to type a story. So this is what it's going to do now. Now it's going to go on the web. It's going to look up the mission statement. Save me a lot of time. I can go make a cup of tea, go play with my dog. Oh, see, it's done with its work. Okay. Now, if I was really doing this, I would research this. I would have a really good story about a family that can't afford to get this instrument, but when the student gets to have it, how it's going to benefit the group, blah, blah, blah. And I would make sure that story was included because clearly stories help get money. But just this, look at, it's giving us an outline. Now you could go in and really, you could change a whole bunch if you need to, but at least you've got like a format and a form. The thing, if you, when you, at the end here, when I give you the prompts, one of the prompt suggestions at the beginning is to say, act as if you are a, or whatever. So you would say here, you are a professional grant writer. And immediately it takes a different, I should have put that at the beginning of this. But anyway, you get the idea, right? What it can do. So, and it can do the same thing with lesson plans. Tell it what you need a lesson plan for what grade level, for 1 day, for 5 days, for a substitute, for a unit, for whatever, have it go to NAFME and outline the learning standards. It will put all of the pieces together in bullet form or in whatever form you want. It is freaking amazing. I get super excited about this. So I promised you I was going to tell you about the 7 magic words. So we're going to do another one. I'm going to do it without. Okay. This particular one has 7 words added at the end. And those 7 words that no matter what your prompt is, if you add, what questions do you have for me? It will ask you even more detailed questions than if you don't ask it. You'll notice it asked us some questions when we wanted to write the grant. And so it asks some questions, but on this one, I like to say, it's the end of the school year. I want to plan a trip for next year, but I don't want to even think about it. So I tell it, you're a travel agent who specializes in music performance tours. Please create, see, I told it how to function. Please create, what do I want? 3 sample itineraries for who? For my high school band. When? For a trip next spring. So I asked what questions. So it's going to ask me questions first so that it can best do this. I love how friendly it is. Sure, I'd be happy to help. Okay. So you can see how this is going to help. So let's do this really quick. My budget per student. Let's say it's, I don't know, it's a $750. How many days? For 3 days. I haven't traveled this year, so I don't know. Size of the band, 100. I'm making stuff up as I go. Does it have a particular concert? Literature. Specific regions? Near Seattle. Festival. Would I like it to include educational components? I don't have to decide which components I want. I just say yes, and it'll figure it out. And then it says, what is the age range and grade? 6th through 8th grade. And then it had some other questions. I can't see those. So let's see what it gets when I didn't answer the last 2 questions because I didn't see them. But let's see what it does after it asks those clarifying questions. So if you've ever planned trips where you're like, I want to go to a certain area, but I don't even know what's around, it can start to give you some ideas. And then you could take this and break it down even further and ask it to give you some reviews of the places it's suggesting. So you could look at them, or websites. Please provide a list of the websites for all of the locations you've got, so you can just quickly go through and look at things. But yeah, what questions do you have for me? And you use those few words and you get remarkable stuff. Is it flawless system? Absolutely not. But I want to ask you now how you're feeling. So if you would take a moment and answer these, I'm going to take maybe 30 seconds because I'm just curious as to
And Leslie, if there's time, there's some requests for examples of lesson plans.
yeah, somebody put in the chat what we want to plan, like give me a grade level and all that.
Beginning band demo, beginning of the school year.
For beginning band demo, for demonstrating the
Instrument cleaning instructions.
oh
It's different, yeah. Music history. Well, I'm just calling out the.
oh, now I'm trying to do this will be really lame because I hardly gave it any information. If I wanted something specific, like I want to teach how music has always has tied into historical events, you know, it would go and find like Charles Mingus and Fables of Faubus and start. I did that with it yesterday, and it was just amazing how it went and pulled the lesson plans and the national standards that it was with and everything. But see, I love how the formatting of it is easy to read here too. Tells you about how much time to plan. By the way, if you like, if you are understanding more than you did when you started, I asked ChatGPT to write the lesson plan for what I was teaching today. I said, I'm teaching busy band directors how to use this who are probably not very familiar with it, blah, blah, blah. And it laid out what to do. It created the poll questions so I could get a sense of who I was dealing with. So anyway, you know, here you go. There's something there. Look, there's an assessment at the end, homework, all of this. Okay, you can have it write it up. Take this now and write a little manual or a little card that could be placed in each student's instrument case, so they could do that. You know, if it was like a saxophone where they had to do the clean swab and stuff, where you could just put those things in there. So much you could do. So let's see. I can probably stop sharing at this point. I do want to look at this poll. I'm going to close the poll. I'm just curious. So it looks like, if anybody wants to scroll, yeah, a lot of people are getting more clear about it, but definitely needing more information. If you need more information, it's exactly what I'm diving into next Thursday for 3 hours. I'm going to talk for a little bit of time, but it's primarily going to be, come to me, tell me what you need. I'll help you write the prompts, and then it'll be a lot easier. 30 minutes to an hour a day. 30 minutes to an hour a day. That's a pretty accurate. If I was teaching high school, I went to middle school for the first time in 35 years. I taught middle school this year. If I taught in the high school, it would be saving me more time because there's just so much more administrative work. So if I had had this when I taught high school, you guys, ooh, golly. And I love this. Some folks already feeling confident. Use this summer to play with it for your personal stuff, so that you get used to it and get familiar with it. That's what I was going to talk about with the getting familiar with it, why solitaire was part of the computers. It was to get people familiar with how to function with a mouse. Just like you want to learn how to function on here. It takes practice. Remember learning an instrument? You sucked at first. It seemed impossible, but when you practice it and you get to know how it responds, it's the same thing with chat. It starts to get to know you. It learns your tone. You could tell it to write an email to somebody and be sarcastic, or to be very serious, or to sound like a lawyer. All kinds of things. You can have it write 5 different ways if you're trying to respond to a parent and trying to get samples before you hit send. So, anyway, I promised that I was going to give you guys a cheat sheet. Wait, I got to find it real quick. I'm going to put the link in the chat for you. And it's just a link to a single page document. And if you come to the class next week, I'm going to have like a way more organized one and a whole lot more examples, but I put this together because I wanted people to be able to have a little bit more luck than just if you try doing this blind. So my purpose today was to introduce you to chat, to help you see what the possibilities are, and my goal, which as you leave here, is to have you be more curious about how it can help you. I know that my stress levels go way down when I don't have to keep thinking about or doing a lot of million things. I want to teach music and I want to be with my family and do those things. And I freed up a ton more time with this. And I know how busy all of you are and how you put your hearts and souls into this. So why not work smarter, not harder? So you want to be careful with it. You want to always double check what it puts out. You don't want to put students like names and ID numbers in there because who knows? I mean, I hope it's all safe and secure, but you do want to be careful with that. So somebody, I'm going to check the chat. So I have nothing new to add. I will respond to the things in the chat here just until they run out or till y'all hang up on me. But otherwise, again, I put a link to the class that I'll be doing, and I've given you a link to the documents to help you write your prompts better. So holy cow, there's a lot of questions. I don't even know. Somebody asked about, I'd seen it fly by, like about checking for standards. You can direct it if you're using the level 3.5 or version 3.5 doesn't surf the web. But if you have 4.0 like I do, you could say to it, go to the nafmi.org website, look up the national standards, and now write me a lesson appropriate for 5th graders for each of those standards. And it might ask you then, and then ask it, what questions do you have for me? And it's going to say, what kind of background knowledge do they have? How long is the lesson? What materials will you have? And then it will write you whatever you've asked it to do. So somebody was asking how to let it know what it needs. You could also send it to your state standard stuff or whatever. But imagine you're doing TPEP and you have to have all of the things, or whatever your TPEP and evaluation system is. This is super easy for that. And IEPs and 504s, when you have things that you need to simplify, especially for teachers that do reading and the like, or anything with content, or if you want students to read about something and you have kids that struggle, you can copy and paste that text and ask it to rewrite this at a 5th grade reading level, for example, or rewrite this in bullet point form with just the key points. You can have it do that so that your students can still benefit from what's there, but you don't have to scan it and then think about it and summarize it yourself. All right, anything else in here? Yeah, somebody wrote here, it takes less time to proofread for validity than creating from scratch. Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I love it. Oh, a music history lesson. So you could probably figure out if you wanted it to do a music history lesson, tell it to act as a music history professor. Do you want it to be about a specific, genre or a specific time period and all those things you can be specific about, or you just say, I want you to write a music history lesson. What questions do you have for me? And it will ask you the things it needs to know. And then you will have your week plan or the month long or the syllabus for the year, whatever you tell it you need. Be specific. Somebody said, how could you use it to save time with responding to emails? Take your email that you get, you could copy and paste it into chat and say, maybe that the response isn't that long or detailed, and you could put, please respond to this email. The information they're looking for is, here's the time, like a parent might say, what time is this event? Where does my kid go? And what do they wear? You could say, the time is they show up at, and they should wear this. Please write an email in response. And then that it would look at both of those and it would know, oh, dear Miss So-and-so, I want you to know Elizabeth should be showing up at 6 o'clock. Well, it'll take both of those and it'll write it, copy and paste it, and put it right back in your email. So that's pretty cool. I see Ansgar on there. Hi, Ansgar. We used your podcast thing as a sample earlier. So yeah, any other questions anybody else has? And somebody
How about
said
subnotes.
subnotes. Yeah.
Subnotes.
Yeah, ask it to write a sub plan for, if you're gone a week, I'm going to need a week-long unit, or for 1 hour class of 5th graders that are learning such and such. What questions do you have for me? And it'll ask you, what's their back or whatever it needs to know, so it can write what you're asking it for. But it will outline it. And if you say it's for a substitute teacher with no musical background, it will give you a different thing than if you ask, you can say, I'm a choir director, or I'm a band director, and it will give you different things. Isn't that crazy cool? Yeah. Don't just get stuck on your computers or phones now getting too super into this, but do check it out. Be curious about it, play around with it. And if you're parents, if you are a parent, know that this is out there and there's some other tools like this. They're really powerful. And if my children were young, I would be very cautious to let them understand, because now not chat as much as all of these other AI tools that can happen. A lot of things that are out there, from cheating at school to or is that really the person talking, or is it an artificial created image with words that sound like your voice, because it can do a lot. So there's a lot of things to be very cautious about in this
I have
process.
a question for you then.
Yes.
What about any pushback from your administrators or parents if they find out that you're using AI to generate anything? I mean, I think some parents will be impressed and other parents will be horrified. Have you had any experience with pushback?
I've used it a whole bunch and nobody said a word. You know why? They can't tell. Because I look over it, I make sure it's in the tone. I ask it to write in a casual but friendly tone, blah, blah, blah. And I always make sure it's really me. Why wouldn't an administrator want you using something that helps you put together resources and really zone in on get clarity on your objectives and have that damn learning target available? You could say, write a learning target.
You know why, because sometimes they're crazy.
Well, so honestly, it's a tool. It'd be like saying, I understand, because we're in crazy times. Yes, I can see parents at the school board meetings, no chat, but yeah, it'd be like saying you can't use the iPhone, go back to the rotary phone that's still attached to your wall. This is here, it's here to stay. And this is as much of a game changer as the iPhone was as when it came on. I think that's why when I jumped on this in December, I'm just like, holy cow. Holy cow. Oh, I don't know why I'm still sharing that. But anyway. All right. I don't see any other questions. So if you want to unmute to ask them, otherwise. Wait, what?
Sarah, can't hear you.
I have a question.
Yes. Oh, hey, Linda, how are you?
Hi, Leslie. Good to see you.
You too.
Can you just explain the difference between the $20 and the free version a little bit?
The big difference is the free version does not access the internet. So anything from 2021 and before, it's like the Encyclopedia Britannica, right? Where you have it and it's printed. The paid version can browse the web, and it's got tens of thousands of plugins, so that if you use like Google Docs, I use a Moffat-gram every day, which is a Google Doc at the end of each day for my students is a little exit survey. I could, if I wanted to say, how's this kid been doing? I could use artificial intelligence plugin that would take, Linda's data from 6 weeks, how has she been doing each day on her check-in form kind of thing. So it can manipulate it in ways that would be really hard for me to figure out. But there's so many things you can add into it. You can't do that with and PDF files. So if you have a PDF file you want it to read through, like to give you a summary of that, I don't think the 3.5 version does it. I think the paid version does that. So it has more capabilities, but for a very long time, I used the other one and got amazing stuff. Good to see you, Linda. Been a minute. All right. Sarah,
Thank
what's
you and
up?
bye.
Oh,
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right. Well, feel free to join me next Thursday in the class I'm doing, and I'll send a recording of this out in case you want to look it over again or have the notes from it. So thanks a lot. You guys enjoy your summer, and thank you for all the work you do every day for kids in music ed. Thanks, Keith.
Thanks, everybody. I haven't been on. I've been managing this since pandemic, so I lost touch with everything. So
it came back to you very well. Thanks for being back there and having my back. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.